And you say, when they always say that when elephants fight,
Absolutely.
it is the grass that suffers. And when you are thinking of the rights of the people, first, they are just coming out of an election, you know, which was just something out of the blues.
Bruising.
You know, bruises, you know, a lot of almost anarchy going on there, because two people are, what are we talking about? The political class. There's an elite capture, but you are struggling. And if you want to talk about Wike seems to be at war with a lot of people. I know he's working, he's doing some good work in FCT, but he seems to be at war with a lot of people. He's a minister now. You need to leave the state alone so that the state can function. I mean, whatever we are doing, you walk on a path. In Nigeria, you are walking in this world, even your path, we are transiting in this world because we're going somewhere else. Mm. And so it is important for people to understand that when you are on the stage, the light must dim sometime. And when one act finishes, the play finishes, the light curtain comes down, you exit. He needs to exit so that Fubara, who is also a citizen of Rivers, and after Fubara, there will be another citizen of Rivers that will come on board.
The court, whether the State Assembly was properly constituted. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. In other words, whether the 4 members of the State Assembly who then approved the Appropriations Act, whether they were legally and properly constituted to do that. Mm-hmm. That was a very specific, very narrow judicial decision. That's what the courts would argue, even though in most cases judges don't come out to argue. You see what I mean? But,
yes.
But I mean, that would be their line of thought, I would imagine.
My dear brother Charles, how many court injunctions have you gotten for the Rivers State of Assembly? You know, in the current dispensation since the election? How many injunctions have you gotten? You are even getting, you know, I think the judiciary seems not to know the kind of responsibilities that they have. The judiciary is supposed to be the arbiter. They are not even supposed to be involved in elections. In terms of pronouncements, they are supposed to see if there is an argument between two people, just like they made a joke out of the Kogi election. That which beavers, you know, the 2022 Electoral Act is very, very clear on overvoting. The Constitution is very specific on all of that. But you have a population of just about 238,000, you know, qualified and accredited, or is it the registered are those who are supposed to vote? And at the end of the day, you have more than 400,000 results declared. Somebody is winning on that. And you said it's okay. I think the Supreme Court should call itself to question. You know, agencies should, you know, it's important for them to, because it's so embarrassing.
I think you're quite right, actually.
You know, but let's come to the Rivers
I don't think people know exactly what is going on. And because of that respect that is normally accorded to the judiciary, there is some reticence about going really hard into it and making some very strident allegations. But certainly I agree with you that there are worrying developments. But I mean, just coming back to the issue of Rivers State, I mean, are you surprised that the state has been sucked into this toxic political environment?
I am not surprised. I'm just frustrated. I feel very frustrated because the citizens, our people are really, really suffering. This is not a time that you joke with citizens. This is a time, you know, you started this year with what? You started last year with what? You cannot buy, today, you know, I went somewhere and I decided to buy groundnut because I like to eat groundnut and other things that, you know, on the streets like that. I bought 200 naira groundnut and I couldn't recognize what they gave me. You cannot use 200 or 500 now and say you are going to buy Gari. Gari is out of, so a lot of frustration is going on. Remember that more than 100 million Nigerians are below the poverty line. And so when you have a case like that, and then whatever is reaching the community, why is a squabble for the local government elections? It's because money is now going to the local government. And the you know, governors are interested in the money that goes to the local government. It's not about getting who is coming there, but the dilemma, what you found in Rivers, is really something that is interesting to see that APC did not contest, another one did not contest, and there's another party that won. You know, they are fighting each other and they are using the state machinery.
So do you think it's all about money there? I mean, like even between the fight between the two sort of big guns there, because, I mean, somebody was saying that, you know, what one person initially thought would be their continuing pot of gold has now ended up being a train wreck. I mean, and that's why everybody is so agitated. I
think the citizens need to call them out. I think we're tired of it. Governor Fubara and, you know, Minister Wike, they are not the only Nigerians. The whole of the, how come, you know, even on the day that they were holding the Rivers election, there were many other elections that were going on, but Rivers was the thorn in the flesh of everybody. And so what are you doing? They need to end this up. They need to give up. They are not more citizens than the other citizens.
The problem is that a lot of the members of the public seem absolutely befuddled and puzzled by what is going on and wondering why they're being punished when these two politicians are fighting each other. I mean,
I think we need to call both the two of them, especially, you know, Nyesom Wike himself. He has left the state. He should leave the state alone. You know, many of the governors that have gone before that are, godfathers, many of them still have a hold. I remember one of the governors, they were quarreling that I want to give you this percentage, but you are insisting on this percentage of the government allocation and all of that. Looting the economy, looting the treasury. Money that you go to the poor people is going to the hands of a lot of people. And as long as you cannot protect the many, as long as the many millions of Nigerians that we cannot protect them, look at how many, you know, we have more than 62% of Nigerian youth, you know, Nigerian population as young people. That's a blessing. We have 4 refineries that is not working. Nigeria is the only country, only OPEC country that does not refine fuel. A country like America has 129 refineries. You can imagine the byproducts, what it produces. That's why many of the industries have closed down, because they're not getting raw materials. And Rivers is a volume, is an oil environment, an environment that should have been producing and, you know, accommodating a lot of workers. They are turning it into a battleground. Do they know that there is tomorrow?
Well, that's a very good question.
There is time for them to start repentance.
That's a good question you raise, because, I mean, you know, they don't seem to subscribe to the view that the points that you're making. I mean, the sense that we get is that they seem, I mean, both sides seem bent on winning their battle. And, I mean, it's a quest for power, and it really matters very little to them about destroying whatever gets in the way, including governance in Rivers State. I mean, that's what is becoming apparent.
You know, the beauty of leadership. I have had the position of leadership in different organizations. I may not be a governor. You know, while working with ActionAid, I worked in 26 states across the country. You build those who are coming from you so that when you look back, you are happy about what you see. A leader who destroys, you know, after, you know, you take the carpet off the next person, you are not a leader. Leaders breed leaders. By building more leaders, you create momentum that will lead so that you can work freely, so that you can make plans for the future. How do you leave a place and then you still want to be involved in what is going on ground? And many of the governors are doing it. Many of them want to be involved. They are interested in who comes after them. In the interest of a leader, in who comes after them, those you have mentored, you wish they will come after you so that the things that you taught them, they will be able to carry on and let the place be stronger. A good leader will always ensure that the person behind him or her is greater than him.
Well, somebody said the reason they're concerned about people coming after them is because they haven't just got sort of skeletons in their closet, they've got graveyards, cemeteries in their closet.
Many of them looted the treasury.
And therefore, they need to be able to keep that
They want to hide
locked.
it. They want to hide it. They want somebody to protect them. And I just wonder, because when you die, not even 1,000 naira or $100 is useful for you. Because what you are doing by primitive accumulation, what you are doing, you are dirtying the surface of the earth. It will not be useful to your children. You can accumulate so much, because what we need to do for young people is to invest in the human capital.
Absolutely.
Prepare your children. The Nigeria that, we started growing up, when you finish from your youth service and all of that, a job is waiting for you. What is waiting for our young people now? Some people have graduated for 10 years. There are no jobs. But you will send a note. You go and train your children outside. You bring them to the country, and the poor people cannot get jobs. But how many people can get educated now? So let's focus on, I think the Rivers, citizens of Rivers, they need to get up. Because people are not, it's like we are not even angry enough. Well, something is going on like this between two people in your state, and you are still going to bed.
Yeah, so there's really nothing to protect the people of Rivers State in this conflict.
The power belongs to the people. They are the right holders. Power belongs to them.
Nothing could be more important to the people of Rivers State than for the conflict between these two men to be resolved peacefully. I mean, even beyond Rivers, the whole country is starting to look in that direction. But while the conflict is continuing, which it clearly is, there needs to be a mobilization of a much louder outcry against the conflict and its impact on the populace, which is the point that you're making here. And could that voice of the people be civil society? I ask this because civil society has battled even greater problems and won, such as military rule.
I think, when we're struggling with the military, when we're fighting the military, if we can you can leave your country and go outside and call on the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, on the military of Nigeria, and you still return and you are sitting in Nigeria, we are having a different kind of government right now. I think, President Tinubu is moving towards autocracy. And that is why people are protesting, or dictatorship rather. And that's why people are protesting, and you are charging them for treason. And you know what that is. So you are trying to quell a voice. People don't have food to eat. They can't move around. What else do you want them to do? You are pushing them to the wall, and you say they cannot react. And our fear is, Nigeria is such a great country. The people are very easy to lead. If only you use your money, redistribute your money, use the money the way it is. We have more than enough in this country. Why would a poor nation, poverty capital of the world, yes, we have been poverty capital, whether we are not today, but we are still, if you have more than 100 million people in Nigeria, if you go to most of the hospitals in Abuja now, if you don't put 1 million on the ground, they will not treat you. Who has 1 million? Where do you want to push the poor people of Nigeria to? And that is why we're saying, look, when the water starts boiling, it won't boil well. People will be consumed in it. There is how do you have election when there is no democracy in the election itself?
But let's focus again specifically on Rivers State.
Yes, you talk of organizing.
Yeah.
Organizing, the citizens of Rivers need to take up. But Nigeria itself, we need to challenge them. Because whatever affects Rivers will affect Nigeria. We all need more organizing. We're calling on the president. We are calling on the president.
Could that organizing be done by civil society?
Organizing can be done by civil society, but we have a government in place.
Right.
How can the president be sitting down and he's watching what is going on in Rivers? When you are a president, whether you are a president of a particular political party, you are a president of so many. So you are the president of the whole country. You are the father of the nation. We have other fathers of the nation. Yakubu Gowon, all the former presidents. Can they not call people to order? All of them are paid. They are paid on behalf of the taxpayers. They're using the taxpayers' money for their own wealth, for their own health itself. It's okay as fathers of the land. But you are seeing people, what they are doing now is to tell you what the government will be doing to us, because the government is being controlled from Abuja. No, Abuja, Wike is the one controlling from Abuja, and by controlling from Abuja will make him, is what he tells that wants to happen, And I'm calling them, we are calling for, we should look at the future.
Yeah, no, I agree
it's important.
I agree with you that